Now what we're gonna do today is take this massive engine, shove it in this tiny little truck, and make this the ultimate shop truck burnout rig. And we're gonna drive this thing all the way to Florida, go to the Freedom Factory, enter a burnout competition, and we're gonna whoop Cletus's butt because he doesn't even have a shop truck that does burnouts. So let's get this build started. Before we take this dang thing apart, I wanna know one thing. Can it do a burnout? I kinda already know this answer, and it can't. But we're gonna try anyway. Yeah, see, it's not having it. So, I got a solution. First, we're gonna try water. Now, we're gonna try again. And I got a feeling still isn't gonna work. Oh. All right, so with a nooch drop, you almost get there. So we got some soap. Soapy water now. Let's see if we can get her to happen. We're almost there. Go! Man. Was it both sides? No, it should just be an open diff. So that's why. All right, one more. Well, we didn't blow up the differential, and somehow we didn't make transmission soup. So while we're ahead of the game, let's take this inside and tear it apart. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that this is the first supercharged V8 Toyota box truck to ever exist. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, someone can let me know in the comments below. But not only is this a supercharged V8, it's not an LS. So this is a 4.7 liter iron block aluminum head 2U ZFE engine that came out of the Toyota Tundras, Land Cruisers, Sequoias, all that stuff. Million-mile motor, not normally known for its power, but when you put a supercharger on it, it like doubles the horsepower. So we should be looking at around doubles the 230 horsepower. So we're gonna be like 350-ish horsepower. I'm not sure the torque numbers, but this is gonna be a massive upgrade from the 120 horsepower we have now with the 3 liter. To say I'm excited would be an understatement. So let's get this thing out of the back of this thing. I've been hoarding it for a long time, but I've never actually, looked at it real in depth, because when you start looking at things, you start making bad ideas and making bad decisions, like tearing apart your perfectly good box truck to put a V8 in it. So let's get started. Pulling out this big ol' supercharged V8 engine. This thing's got all the goodies. Got the 9th and 10th injector kit, got all the piggyback standalone ECUs, all the wiring, all the nonsense, got it all. And hopefully we can make it all fit into this box truck. So last night, instead of starting the project like I was supposed to, I went ahead and finally moved into my new Snap-on toolbox. And well, it made me realize that I can officially buy more tools, because although the drawers are, they're filling up, I still have almost, well, I mean, that's not empty, but that's a very close to empty drawer. That drawer is empty. This drawer is empty. This drawer has some space. I mean, we got space in a lot of these drawers, whereas I was completely overloaded and overflowing out of my last box. Look how many more pliers we can have. A whole drawer for pliers. How hype is that? But all that being said, today this is finally cool. There's no more excuses. It's time to rip apart a perfectly good running Toyota pickup and swap this honking massive V8 into it. And I think it'll do pretty good burnouts, considering the truck kind of does burnouts now. So 3 times the power, I think it should do 3 times the burnout, which would be a pretty wicked burnout. Without further ado, let's start unbolting and disassembling this. I do believe we have this engine sold when we pull it, so that's sick. So we can buy an automatic transmission for the engine, and then we will have basically everything we need other than the Off-Road Solutions wiring harness to make this all work. So let's dig into this, pull this crappy engine out, and start thinking about how we're going to get this much less crappy, much larger engine in the bay. So we have done a lot of the progress up top, and now we are pulling all the stuff down here that's in the way of getting this engine out. We're gonna pull this cross member, cut the exhaust, unbolt everything that we need to unbolt, probably drop the steering for the time being, and then we should be able to pull this engine and transmission all in one. Normally I don't do that, but I really do not feel like separating these two. And we're not using much of anything from the original engine, trans, wiring, any of that stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna try and pull it all at once, see if we can get that done, and then we will see if we can shoehorn this big old V8 in here. Let's pull this stuff. Oh, that's the wrong, what? That smells beautiful. So I think we have enough done and disconnected on this thing that we can just yar out the engine and everything should just work. The one thing I know that we have left is a fuel line up here. I didn't want to disconnect that yet. Motor mounts though are done. We're gonna do the engine, trans all at the same time. The AC is disconnected, the power steering is disconnected because I didn't want to drain those systems. And I believe everything else is just unbolted and unconnected, and anything that's not, we're probably gonna cut because, well, we're changing everything. So we're just gonna kind of pull this pig out of here as easy as possible. The time has come to try and pull engine, trans as a unit. I haven't done this in a long time because it usually sucks. We're gonna see how much it sucks today. I'm guessing a lot. Yeah. Now that this is in the air, we need to get the transmission up, moving forward, to move it all forward, and then we'll try and tilt it and finagle it out. Rip and tear, folks. V8 swap stuff. Wow. I feel like this is the redneck way to do things. Just cut stuff and yar. I'm not even looking at what we're possibly getting caught up on. God. What was that? Let's keep going up. Well, that's kind of sad. That was a perfectly running and driving engine. I'm gonna call the junkyard and see if they want to negotiate. I'm gonna see if they'll take trade. Ow, ow, ow. And just like that, we have the engine and trans out of this unit, and there's a little bit of room, but I'm not sure quite enough for a V8, a supercharger, and everything else we want to shove in here. So we'll just have to find out. But we are going to now take everything else that we don't need out of here. Power steering pump, we're going to take that out. AC lines, AC condenser, because we're going to be using a new condenser when the time comes. Right now we're worried about a radiator, the engine, and the transmission, and doing burnouts. So that's the main priority, and then we'll get AC a little bit later. We took this outside, we power washed it, everything's looking good, got the grease and grime out of here, and well, I took a trip to the junkyard, and looky what I found. We got ourselves a 2004 Tundra, which is the same ECU we have that has a full TRD 9th and 10th injector piggyback. So this is all for an 04 Tundra, and I got the two-wheel drive 04 Tundra trans, and wouldn't you know, all of the connectors plug right in. So we actually got this for $200. So I'll tell you why. I was ready to pay $450 like they had asked at the junkyard, but come to find out, this is where the gear shift goes, and there is no nut to tighten and hold it on there. So we're gonna be welding that on there super sloppy like. I'm okay with that. Not a lot of other people would be. Another thing, this wiring harness was sitting like this, so it's obviously been smashed into, and there might be some dirt and grime in the transmission, but it's okay. We're building this for a good time, not a long time. I think that's already a saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So we'll straighten this out. This still looks like all the wiring is good,
and we have a torque converter that came with it. So for $213 out the door, we have a full transmission ready for this Supercharged V8 swap in this super tiny, kind of massive box truck. So without further ado, let's get all the crap out of here. Let's bolt those two together, and let's see if we can't fit that massive pile in this tiny pile hole. What's up, you guys? Just wanted to let you know that we are going to be at the Matt's Off-Road Recovery Games, where they do the record games and the jalopy games and all that stuff. We're gonna be there, we're gonna have a booth, and we also wanted to show you some new merch that we have in stock. We have these two new hats. These are super slick. They kind of get these hats actually lids, but we got them custom embroidered. Got black and blue, gray and green. Sweet hats. I wear these hats now. I need a big hat because I got a size 8 head. We have the original hats that we've had on the website for a while, and we have a new shirt. I've already showed it to you guys, but haven't showed you in person. Old Yodas. What more do you need a shirt to say? It's got elevated fabrics on the left sleeve. Old Yoda's there. Got the Sun Raider shirt still, OG fabric shirt, and then we got a few in gray. These are sick. We only have a few. They're going to be live on the website. We also have the 2 hoodies, Old Yodas Never Die. Currently completely destroying one. They are not stain resistant. Sorry about that. And then the embroidered elevated fabrics hoodie. Head over to the site, efwmerch.com. We appreciate your support. Let's get back to this live action. I actually think this is a super rare sway bar once I got halfway through it, but it's cut in half now and I have an extra. So I'm sorry to whoever could have used that. It's out of my way now. Now that we have the engine bay empty and clear, we can get all of this crap off of the engine, put the transmission on the engine, bolt them together, get the AC compressor off here because we won't be using that right now. More than likely, I'm gonna have to pull the oil filter unit here because we're gonna have to get a relocation kit. I'm gonna pull the power steering pump off, and that should do it as far as accessories that we have to get off to get this in the engine bay. And hopefully we can just sneak this all as a unit bolted together in there and get an idea of what is gonna fit and what is gonna need cut, because that's why we cut the sway bar. We're gonna try and get the engine trans all in here at once. So I'm gonna pull all of the AC stuff. I'm gonna pull the bumper. I'm gonna pull everything off the front end, just in case I decide it's a good idea to cut this core support. I'm not opposed to cutting the core support. I'll either weld it back in or I will make another core support bolt on. This one's already been wrecked. You can see we have washers holding this up. So if I actually cut out the whole front clip and put in a whole new front clip, I wouldn't even be that mad about it. Coming through with a honker. So according to my calculations, core support's gotta go. So for all of you who are probably mad at me for doing that, I'll show you why you shouldn't be in just a second. Do you see that beautiful minty weld? And see how this is black and that's yellow? This side hasn't been wrecked. This side has been wrecked, and they welded in half a core support. I'm not sure where they even started. I don't know. They did a pretty good job at hacking together half this core support, but they welded it right here. And I think they may have just replaced this front little section, but whatever they did, it's ghetto, and we're not worried about it. So we don't need that, okay? We need a V8 right here. And now V8 will go in much easier. So let's see what happens. That's good. Let's come in. Whoa, violence is not the, all right, stop. Oh, hey man. We're gonna have to let this back end down. If we need a new oh my God. Oh, okay. It just started sliding, hang on. A little more. A little more. Right there. Now let's go back. All right, now down. It's kind of sort of fitting. Down. Okay, stop. So we are very close. Okay, hang on. And just like that, we have ourselves a freaking engine in the engine bay. It's looking sick. We definitely need to go down, definitely need to go back. In order to go down, well, right now we are just sitting on the steering. So we're going to pull the oil pan. Hopefully that's enough. We did order a rear sump oil pan. And then we need to cut the exhaust flanges. They're kind of just sitting on everything. That should give us enough room to go back about 5 inches. We have a lot of space back there. And then down. We need to go down so that these exhaust runners are under the steering and kind of right next to the upper control arm. There's never any room in these 90-degree V engine swaps, especially in the Toyotas. It's a notoriously tight swap, but here we are. We're going to get her done, and it's going to do some sick burnouts. So let's pull this back out. It won't be the first time. It will not be the last time that we have to insert, pull out, put in, put out, put in, put out. It's going to be a good time. Woo-hoo-hoo! Noises. Ah! You know, when it's just me and I'm unsupervised, things get crazy, all right? Ah! No, we're good. We're good. Scratch that, dented that. All right. I'll ask for help next time. Now we pulling an oil pan. Moment of truth. Yes. This isn't feeling like full oil to me. It's starting to feel like it might be full on oil.
I think it might be full oil.
All right. Well, look at that. I'm glad I drained the oil. All right. Well, you guys get the gist of this. I guess I'll report back when we have the oil pan off. Making a lot of gurgly bloop, bloop, bloop. Who would have thought? Oil pickup submerged in oil. Done. I bet this oil pan was never changed out. So for however many 21 years, this is looking pretty good. Now to pull the rest of this oil pan off, fit a little better in there. All right, here it goes. Ah! All right, there we go. Pickup, oil pans, done. I'm gonna wipe off all this crap off the bottom of these crankshaft. All these counterweights is what these are. There's no oil down here. It's just gonna drip and drip and drip. Cover it in a trash bag, and we're gonna cut some stuff. I should have cut all this metal shavings before I pulled the oil pan off and exposed all of these beautiful components to the air. But we're here now, so yeah, we'll cut these exhaust flanges and keep on trucking. And now, that we have both of these exhaust flanges cut and an entire oil pan opened, all the elements, I think it's time we shove this thing back in this dirty engine bay. See if we can't get ourselves into some trouble here, and hopefully maybe think about making motor mounts. Maybe. Oh, okay. That is where I love it to be, but yeah, we're pretty wedged in there. We're super. I guess I'll show the people over here.
If we pull it up here, we should be able to win it.
Yeah. So header touching control arm, negative, not a good thing. So we might have to build headers, and then we have rag joint touching header, touching control arm. So that's also less than ideal. We're still very, very far from keeping this under the hood. So I think what has just been determined is this is a through the hood kind of build. We have now determined that this engine trans combo barely fits in the engine bay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna build a plate right here. We've got 4 big fat mounting holes. We'll build a 1/4 inch plate for both sides. That'll be the motor mount. We'll come over here, put a 1/4 inch plate on our existing motor mounts there, and then the next time we put this in there, we can connect those 2 plates with tube, plate, who knows, whatever we decide, and then, ooh, spooky noises, and then well, our motor mounts will be done, and we can put this thing on the lift, and then we'll build the trans mount, and then we have this engine and trans mounted. And so we told you guys about our junk transmission from the junkyard and how it was rough in every way. So we're actually going to return this next business day, because that's got to go. We need a good transmission. I thought we might be able to make it work, but we can't even get the drive shaft in it. So anyway, all that being said, plates, cutting, drilling holes, mounting to those, and then we'll mount them together. Engine mounts. So we have our angle finder thing here. We'll just go ahead and measure the plates we need on the engine, and we'll use this to figure out what angle we want to cut this at. Here's our angle. So we'll cut a piece, boom, boom, and we'll have it go. Honestly, we'll just go all the way up to the end of this and over. And that'll be a big enough plate on this side. And over here on the engine side, we need a plate that is roughly, I want it bigger because I like more to work with than less. We're gonna go 6 inches by 4 1/4. We're gonna do all this at a 1/4 inch because why not? We're not going for weight savings. We're putting a big old cast iron V8 in this bad boy, and it's meant to do burnouts and shop truck stuff. So we'll cut out these 2 things, drill some holes, connect them together, have a dang V8 mounted in this truck. So now that we have our pieces cut out and we are ready to get them ready to weld to, you might notice there's something new in the shop. This is an Ameribraid 72-inch belt grinder. This thing's sick. I mean, sounds like a freaking airplane because it's got all the horsepower. I think it's a 2-horse motor. They do everything. They notch tube, they prep steel. It's like an all-around amazing tool for the shop. Once you have one, it's hard to live without one, and I'm so stoked that they sent me this. And yeah, it's a dream come true. If you're a fabricator, you know about the Ameribraid. If you don't know about the Ameribraid, you're about to find out. We're gonna prep these 2 pieces a 1/4 inch to weld to, get all the slag off the corners and stuff, and we'll show you how quick this is because it's insane. I am so thankful to have one of these in the shop, and the fabrication corner is growing quite nicely. Got the fab table, Ameribraid, and we have one more super sick piece of equipment coming in so soon that I'm excited to show you guys. It's been a long time coming. I'm excited for it. That Ameribraid made these engine side mounts cake. All we gotta do is drill holes in those. Those can go on. We have our frame side mounts here. We cut the and we took just the end of it. We're gonna use this, trace the back, get these cut out, prepped just like this over on the Ameribraid, get everything bolted in, put the engine in, and we're gonna get these mounts made. We now have this all laid out. I forgot the other hole, but we'll get the hole in there. We'll get this chopped up here on the bandsaw, and we'll make sure this fits the other side. If it does, we'll just copy this onto the other piece, and then we'll have 2 frame side engine mounts, 2 engine side engine mounts, and we just need to connect them with the engine in the bay, and we have the engine mounted. Pretty slick, pretty slick. And I really cannot say enough about how much I love this thing. Gotta have your chip collector on the bottom because you develop a lot of metal shavings very fast. All right, we got this cut, and we will see how it fits. Dang, fits pretty good. So we'll clean it up on the Ameribraid, make a lop there, make another one of those for over there, shove the engine in, try and fit some rubber in between the engine and these mounts, and finally have an engine in this bay. It is so hard to beat the value of a Harbor Freight step bit. see if this fits. Looks pretty good. So in theory, yeah, it should fit there. Looking like it's gonna fit just fine. And should fit there. So I'll go replicate this and I'll be right back with 2 of these. And just like that, with the good old snap trick, we have 2 of these, one for there, one for there. Drill some holes in these, get them mounted up to the engine, shovel this in there, and see what we want to do about connecting it all. All right, let's check that this fits. All right, so we have our plate drilled out. This is where we want it. And this is hard, but yeah, we're good. We're dialed. So repeat on the other plate, bolt these to the freaking motor, and we need to get this thing in there so we can get this thing mounted. We're tapping the engine mount bolt hole because this one never had a bolt in it. And well, we're putting a bolt in it and it's kind of rusty in there. So we'll clean it out. The other side is already on there. Spin this around sketchily. So we'll do the same to this side. Throw it in there and make some mounts. All right, so we now have our mounts bolted. And you guys might think, where's the rubber at? Well, I kind of looked for a rubber mount and I decided this is the Burnout truck / road tripper. So who needs rubber motor mounts?
Did you really look for a mount?
I did. That's why my rubber bushings are out over there. So, and we're gonna see what it looks like. We might put rubber in there, we might not. I'm just gonna shove it in here, see what it looks like. And if it sucks with no rubber, I can pull the motor mounts, make a jig. Then I'll know how, then I can make more motor mounts for you guys maybe. And then I'll put rubber in there after I make the jig. That's my thought, at least. This is kind of sketch, so. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
What did it touch?
I don't know. It's broken. It's broken now, whatever it is. All right, down here. All right, it's great. Love it. All right, thanks. Thank you. We have the engine and transmission where we want them. We don't have much room for error. And I want to put rubber mounts in, but we're not going to be able to put rubber mounts in today, so I have a solution. I'm going to make these engine mounts capable of accepting a rubber mount later in life. So for now, they'll be solid. When we get the rubber mount, I can put the rubber mount inside of the solid mount and cut the solid mount off, or just make new ones. We'll see. But we're going to solid mount these for now. There is a very tight clearance to everything, so there is a reason I'm solid mounting it, as well as it's easiest to get it done. And we're getting it done. And if it sucks, I will soft mount it, I swear. So we're gonna cut some plates, get it all welded in there. It's deep in there. And then we'll pull it out and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Ah, my finger! It's okay. It's there. That was a good flash. Oh yeah. That, my friend, is a solid engine mount that's going nowhere. I was gonna not choose violence. I stuck this big screwdriver I have right here, and it kind of kept the motor exactly where I want it. So now I can build the motor mount up in there without the engine hoist up in my business. So this next one's gonna go quicker. I'm gonna be happier about it, and then we'll get the trans mounted. And we're hard mounting everything, because I said so, YOLO. So for this side, I decided that we were gonna use cardboard and turn it into steel. So cardboard aided design. We have both these engine mounts, both the pieces for the engine mount made, and we're gonna weld these in, and we're gonna be done. Engine mounts are gonna be solid. We'll pull them out, weld them out all the way once we get the trans mount made. But yeah, this is sick. Last two little pieces, and we'll be mounted. I'm already seeing it. It looks fantastic. It looks like we're gonna have a massive hole in the hood. It's gonna be big hole in the hood, or no hood. I haven't decided yet. But let's weld this up. Sick. We got ourselves a V8 freaking box truck. It's in here. There's no screwdriver holding it in. We're gonna have to swap out this rag joint for a U joint because that will melt for sure. We're gonna have to cut the crap out of the hood because, well, supercharger, V8 things. Looks like we have maybe enough room for a radiator, maybe not. We might be cutting into the core support. But yeah, we have it's mounted. So we need to get under there, do a trans mount. We're gonna do solid engine and trans mount so everything's just solid. It shouldn't be too bad because these 90-degree V8s are some of the smoothest running engines you'll ever experience. I'm excited. It's real. It's here. TRD Supercharged 2UZ in a 92 box truck. Now to do the rest of the work. So what we're gonna do is go up with this, build a trans mount. Engine mounts are done. After that, we can pull all the mounts, weld them, make sure those are dialed. While we return the transmission, go on a secret mission, come back from our secret mission, get a new transmission in here with some wiring and some fuel and some exhaust and all the other things to make it run, and we'll have a sick burnout truck. You know, whenever you got a really heavy big box truck on the lift and you don't want it to fall off, you just put up a little tripod stand and it makes you feel better about everything. So we'll hop under here, start assessing this transmission mount, which right now is a bunch of 2x4s. So we need to replace these 2x4s with a real transmission mount. And once that's done, well, we have a transmission mount. Easy as that, right? So this mount will actually be quite easy. All we're gonna do is bend a piece of probably 3/16 to where it will mount both of these, and then we'll come down probably on the front or the back to this bolts on. So we don't even have to make a new this half. This just bolts on. It can unbolt and rebolt. So overall, mounting the trans will be cake. And then we're good. It's crazy, the oil pan's still just open. We're waiting on an oil pan. We got a custom rear sump oil pan coming. And hopefully we can put our sway bar back too. I know I cut my sway bar in half, but I have another one because this thing, when it's doing nasty burnout, it's probably gonna want a sway bar. So let's go ahead and bend, cut, and shape some metal to have a mount here. Should be a good time. Now we will use a tape measure to make sure that our output is pretty much centered, at least as close to centered as we can get. You hear that? Mm-hmm. Are we gonna die?
I don't know.
I hope not. I'm gonna go bend some probably 3/16. Plenty. 1/4 inch for the motor mount, 3/16 for this. Plenty. So half of this angle is what we need to bend our two brackets to. We are going to bend this to 37 degrees. I actually don't have a way to measure the degrees that I bend stuff to. So we're just gonna bend it and check it and bend it and check it and bend it and check it. But ideally we're going for 37 degrees. I'll try. We have this. We can get close using this. Oh, it's dead. We can't even use this. All right, see if we can not mess this up. That looks like about 34 degrees, maybe, probably, possibly. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know, folks. Let's see, put these together. Nope, we need more. That was a lot more. A little too much, but we can smack them down with a hammer. And then hopefully, yeah, that's right. Oh yes, this looks right. So we'll smack them down with the hammer just a little bit until we get this angle, and we'll be good to go. But ideally we want this lining on there and this being on that line. So we'll make that happen right now. Just barely too much, but it'll be okay. It's within a margin of error. Mint. Rust belt things. Bad around here. So bad. Everything needs PB Blaster because everything's rusty. But it's okay. It's just a Burnout road trip truck that I plan to keep forever after I put a Supercharged V8 in. No big deal. Oh, he's probably going the front of this one. You just gotta PB Blaster everything. I guess I should probably just soak the undercarriage of this with PB Blaster one day. Take all the old bolts out, put a bunch of new bolts in. Oh, that was way better now, so let's see what happens. It's crazy how well PB Blaster works.
Sometimes I feel like you have no faith in PB Blaster because you never use it.
Because we're not in the rust belt and I'm never moving there. We have our bent pieces of 3/16, which is extremely overkill looking at what we're welding to. Welding to like this stamped 11 gauge, but it's okay. It's gonna go here, that's gonna, you get the idea. So we're gonna hold it up here, mark where our holes are gonna be. Boom, cool. So we'll take it over to the bench, drill holes in this, mirror it to the other side, and get this thing bolted together and maybe see where it needs to be trimmed so that we can weld it to this bracket. We have this first half of the bracket up here. I put this bolt-on thingamajig that I unbolted up here, and we just kind of templated where it's gonna land on this because we're just gonna welding this straight to the top of this. So I've got it marked. We have this down. We'll unbolt it, cut it, put it back up. Hopefully we don't mess it up. Okay, and now we cut that one to match that one, and hopefully everything works out great. Yeah, we're good. Wow. Sick, boys and girls. So I'll bolt this in, weld it all together, and we have our trans mount. I'll reinforce it just a little more, just a little extra, but we're good. That's it. Solid mount, front and rear, race car stuff. Burnout truck stuff. If I hate it, we'll put a soft mount in. But for now, this is gonna be great. Ooh. So we now have this welded, but I am scared of these opening or getting tighter when we unbolt them from the trans. So I'm gonna cut a plate to cover this front section or this rear section. I haven't decided yet. One of the two, and we'll weld it all together, and then it won't move any which way, and it'll be super strong and super fantastic. Ooh, big sparks. Big sparky lady. Boom! All right, we have the sickest transmission mount and the sickest engine mounts. This thing's officially a V8 swapped box truck. Now, let's take this transmission out and return it because it's kind of a turd.
We have the engine out of this thing, and I know you guys couldn't really see what was going on, so I'll give you a better idea. These two tabs, or this bracket itself, was down, obviously, where the motor mount goes. I was simply cutting those plates to have a solid connection between the top of that, the bottom of that, and what I will end up doing in the near future is getting a piece of tube going to a bushing here in the center. Maybe. The more I think about it, the more this is going to be solid mount, but this is the hypothetical soft mount situation. There'll be a bushing in the center, and then that will have a little bit of a thing over there. So for the time being, these are super strong. They're not going anywhere. I will add some bracing on the back side so that these have a shear value. Right now, they're strong enough, but not strong enough, if that makes any sense. And then over here, this is what the trans mount came out to be. So while these mounts look great, and I'm super stoked on how they came out, the last week has been a roller coaster. Actually, last couple weeks, last couple months really, but we have something that will change the game forever. We have a freaking CNC table, folks. Holy cow, Langmuir Systems came through, hooked it up with the table, and that's not the best of it. I know you already seen it, but we have the whole shebang. These are things that you don't necessarily have to have to do this. I've done it for years without them, but the efficiency, what I can do and how fast I can do it, and I mean, what I can do has been leveled up now. Just in a couple hours, I was able to completely relearn Fusion, relearn my table, and make this laptop stand. It's not perfect. There's nothing perfect about it, but it's sick. It's custom. It looks cool. So the limits on projects has been lifted. It's insane. I'm so thankful to be partnering with Langmuir, Ameribraid, all these great companies that are just making great tools. And just so you know, that is something I should have bought years ago. I spend thousands of dollars on so many silly things. $27.50. That's what that table costs. I already had the plasma cutter. They sent me one, yes, but I already had the cutter. For under $3,000, you can have a plasma table and you can build anything you want. Yeah, I know not everyone can afford it, but I could, and I didn't spend the money on it, and I feel silly for it. Anyway, back to the swap. I think this is where we're gonna end it for today. This thing is completely cooked, so we have to return that. It needs to go back to the junkyard. I only paid a couple $100 for it, but I want my money back so we can get a good one coming from eBay. And this, we need to get sealed up. We need an oil pan. We need to reinforce this, so we need to get that cut up, but we'll save that all for next time. For now, I wanna show you guys what we have going on in the merch department. So please and thank you, everyone who has ordered something. Know from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it. It means so much. But we have all our stuff here. Almost everything's in stock. Old Yodas never die. We already know this. We got old trucks in the yard running forever. We have our embroidered elevated overland hoodie. This is a sick hoodie. This one's a little darker, so you can kind of sort of stain it. It does stain very easily if you see me wearing mine. It's not like super easy. This one obviously shows stains a little more. We're working on some black hoodies. We have hats. We have this one. It's new. Elevated Fabworks. Green under there. This is your, like, you get these at Lids. So if you like the Lids hat, this is a Lids hat. And then this is actually a Crowns by Lids hat. These are both snapbacks. This one's blue and black. This one's green and gray. Very similar to what I wear. But actually, this is identical to what I'm wearing here. I wanted hats that I enjoy wearing, and I have to have fitted hats. I got a big old head, so I got the same hats that I wear, so you guys can buy them. And the original hats, you know that. Boom, boom. And then we have 4 shirts to pick from. They're pretty sick. We got the Sun Raider shirt. That's on the back. That's the front. We got the old Yoda shirt. On the sleeve is where the Elevated Fabworks is on this one. And then we got the OG shop shirt. This is the front, this is the back, and we now have it in gray. So that's sick. We only have a few of these. I ordered a bunch of gray shirts and I wasn't sure what to do with them. So we made them shop shirts. They're sick. That being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. Please, if you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button. It helps out so much. And yeah, let's get this freaking supercharged box truck built and burning out. Cause I'm stoked to drive this thing with the V8 in it.